Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna show you how to make this crochet top. This is the back. If you're on Pinterest at all, then you've probably seen a top similar to this with like the twist front and a little cutout there. I first saw it on Pinterest and I was like, I need to make one. I've tried really hard to find like the original creator of this top and like what brand initially designed it, because it's probably like a smaller brand, but I couldn't find anything and I only saw this top on like random fast fashion websites, so I don't really feel bad about ripping off their design because I don't like fast fashion. So yeah, this is my version of the top. I think this video should be pretty easy for someone who is a beginner at crochet and like just starting out, because all you really need to know is a single crochet and like chaining. This twist part right here is a little bit weird, but I walk you through it and hopefully it won't be a problem. So that's pretty much all I have to say, and I'm just gonna get into the video. You're gonna need some yarn. I'm using two different colors and these are both Big Twist yarn, I believe. I'm pretty sure this one's Big Twist as well, but it's just 100% acrylic Big Twist yarn. Here's all the info. I'm using a 4mm hook. You could use a 5mm if you want, but I want my stitches to be really close together so I don't have to worry about wearing a bra under the top, so I'm using a 4mm. A darning needle, scissors, and a tape measure. Before we actually start, you need to measure how big your top needs to be. So I kind of go from there to there, if you can see that, all the way around the front. And this doesn't have to be exact. Basically, we're gonna be making this length at the top, and then whatever space is left, we're just gonna tie it together, and it's gonna be a lace in the back, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm gonna just go like that, and then turn and see where it's going, and I'll leave about that much space in the back, maybe a little less. The more space you have, the less crochet work you have to do, so keep that in mind. But I'm happy with this, so I'll just take that measurement. That is about 26 inches for me. For reference, my bust is about 34 inches, so I only did 26 for the top. So if you don't have a measuring tape or you just don't feel like measuring, I guess you can try using that ratio that I just used. 26/34 is what I ended up going with. 34 is my bust. So yeah. To start, you're just gonna take your first color, it can be either one, it doesn't matter, and make a slip knot. So wrap it around your finger, make a little loop like that, and then go into the loop and pick up this longer piece and pull it through. Then insert your hook and tighten that down a little bit. And now you're gonna chain the length of the measurement that we just took. So I'm gonna chain enough to get 26 inches, which is what I need for my size. If I'm not mistaken, this is about 118 chains that I did to get 26 inches of length. And once you have the right length for the size you're making, you're going to grab your other color and you're going to make a slip knot. Then put the slip knot on the hook and tighten it down a little bit, and then pull that through this loop to change colors. And you can tighten this other color down, and now you're going to be working with both colors. So now chain one with this new color, and then go into this first chain that isn't this color, so this one right here. Go into there, and then you're going to work over both of these two pieces of yarn. So put those over the hook, then grab this color, pull it through, so now you have two loops on your hook, and then pull through those two loops, so that's a single crochet. And then this is the next stitch. You're gonna do the same thing. Again, we're working over those 2 pieces of yarn. Another single crochet, this next stitch, single crochet, and we're just going to do this all the way down, just working a single crochet into each chain. By the way, once you have about this much left of the tail of the new color, you can just stop working that in and then just pull it to the side so you're no longer working over it. And then you'll just have to remember that this side is now your bad side and this is going to be the inside of the top, so it doesn't stick out in the top. I'm just going like normal. I'm still working over this color. I'm just doing my single crochet all the way to the end. I'm 2 chains from the end now. And also, by the way, sorry if the lighting is changing a bunch of the video. I'm just trying to film this whenever I get a chance, and I just have like little bits each day, so just ignore that. But I'm gonna do this single crochet, and then I have one more, this last one right here, and on that one I'm going to change colors. So just go in there like normal, working over this piece and then pull up a loop, so you have 2 loops, and then instead of going and pulling through with that color, you're gonna drop this and then pick up the other color and then pull through with that color. So now you've changed colors to this one. And then chain 1. Now turn. And then we're gonna work over the orange color, or this second color. And now we're gonna be working over, this color. So you're just gonna hold it like that, kind of get it to the back without covering up this first stitch. So we're gonna go into the very first stitch, which is right there, and then work over this other piece of yarn and just start doing single crochets all the way down, working over this yarn piece. And we're doing exactly what we did for the other row, where we're just going to keep going all the way down. So just do this the whole way. Basically what we're making right now is the part of the top that twists. So this is the top portion of the top, and the height that you do this is going to depend on the size you're making. So for me, I'll probably end up doing like that much total, but you're gonna just want to keep going and then see how it fits and if it covers your boobs. Basically that's what you're trying to do. So I'm just gonna keep going to the end and I'll show you how to change colors again, but we're basically just doing the same pattern that we've been doing, changing colors after each row until you get a height that covers your breastises. I have 2 more, so go into this one, single crochet, and then 1 more is this final loop here. Go into there, pull up a loop, so now I have 2 loops, and then instead of pulling through with the purple, I'm going to pull through with the orange, change color, and then chain 1, then turn, and now you just work into that first stitch with your different color, working over this previous color piece of yarn, and then you're just doing exactly what we've been doing, where you're just single crocheting into each stitch, working over this other color. Okay, this is what my top part ended up looking like. This is the length that I needed. This is 19 rows, so if you have a size that's similar to mine, this is 19 rows. I will say it's kind of weird that one side is orange forward and this other side is purple. I think it might be because we like worked over the other yarn color and maybe that pushed it forward or something. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on there, but whatever. Basically what we're gonna be doing is twisting it in the middle like this, and it's gonna sit like that. And then for this next row, we're going to like start over here just like normal, do the regular start of the row. But once we get to the middle, to the point where it twists, we're gonna chain over this space and then reconnect over here and then finish the row like normal. And then from there, you just continue doing what we were doing on this top piece. So I just wanted to show you the length that I did. Again, this is 19 rows. And yeah, let's just get into how to do the twist part and the rest of the top. This next part is gonna involve some calculations. So I'm gonna try really hard to make this make sense. What you're gonna do is count how many stitches you have across. If you remember earlier, I said I was doing 118, but I accidentally skipped this last stitch right here on this row, and so I ended up with 117 total. It's not a big deal, but it kind of annoys me, but whatever. So I have 117 stitches total, and what you're gonna do is multiply the number of stitches that you have total, which again for me is 117, multiply that by 0.15, and that's gonna give you the number of chains that you're gonna do in the middle, like underneath the twist. So 0.15 times 117 is, I think like 17, I think it was 17.55, and I'm just gonna do 17, but basically you just wanna do something around that number. And then what you're gonna do is subtract the chain number that we just calculated from the total number of chains. Total number of chains for me is 117, so I'm subtracting 17, that gives me 100, and then you're going to divide that number by 2, so that gives me 50. And basically what the 50 is we're going to do 50 on this side, and then we're going to do the chain 17, and then we're going to do another 50, and basically that's just making sure that the chain space that we're doing is in the exact middle of the top. If your number wasn't even and didn't divide evenly, like let's say you had 101 after you subtracted the chain space instead of 100 like I had, that would give you 50.5. So you could just do like 51 chain 17 and then 50, and that would be fine. It doesn't need to be perfect. Nobody's gonna notice if you had 51 on this side and 50 on the other. You just want it to be pretty close. So watch that a couple times. If that was confusing, I tried really hard to make it as simple as possible, but I know that that was a little bit confusing. But if you are good, then what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna finish up this 19th row, doing my last single crochet and changing colors on that last one, and then chain 1, and then turn. And now we need to twist the top. It doesn't need to look perfect right now because we're gonna actually be like counting it, so it should be pretty exact, but you wanna twist it in the middle like so, and it's gonna look like that. What I'm gonna do is 50 single crochets, and that should end me like somewhere there, and then I'll chain 17, and then I'll count from the left 50 of these single crochets, and then that's where I'll reconnect into after doing my chains, and then I'll do 50 more single crochets until the end, and then from there we just keep going. I untwisted it for right now, just because it's kind of hard to crochet it while it's twisted. But I'm gonna do 50 single crochets because that's what I got with my calculation. But just do whatever you have. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 50. So these are my 50 single crochets. Now I'm gonna chain 17 because that was the 0.15 times my total number of chains. This is 17 chains. And then I'm actually gonna cut this yarn because I can't carry it over since it's just a loose chain, it's not attached to anything. So I'm gonna cut this and I'll have to reattach later, but I'm kind of pulling it a little bit and then cutting, and then it'll just go into there and disappear. But now we're gonna twist the top. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. Now count the same number that you did these single crochets from the left. So I'm counting 50. I'm holding on to it and I'm going to go into that 50th stitch like that, and then grab the yarn and then do a single crochet like so, and then you're just going to do single crochets into the remaining 49 stitches, or whatever your number is. And this is a little bit different because this is only one loop since this was our starting chain, so it's a little bit different. I'm just going to that one loop like that, so that's what we're actually going into. For the last stitch, I'm going into the last stitch, and now we need to change colors, so we need to reattach this other color. To that, you're just going to make a slip knot and then put that on the hook and then pull through with that. And you can tighten this end down. Now just chain 1 and turn. And this looks weird right now, but it's gonna come together, don't worry. I'm not gonna crochet over this end, I'm just gonna weave that in later, so I'm not worried about that. So now I'm just working over this other color, and I'm gonna start in the first stitch and just do single crochets. And we're literally just doing this all the way down. This is what we did for the entirety of the first top, and once we get here, we're gonna go all the way down here and then just work over that and then work over that. So I'll show you how I do that when I get there, but it's exactly what we've been doing for literally the entire top up to this point. And as you can see, I'm just gonna go into the next chain just as if it were the next stitch, like what we've been doing. So the next one is right there. Next one's right there. And I'm just gonna keep doing that. And then I'm just reconnecting here, and that's all just like normal. And you're just gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna go all the way to the end, change colors here, then go all the way here, over there, change colors here at the end, and just keep doing that until I get the length of the top that I want. So this is like, this is the top of the top, and then we're working towards the bottom, so you can just keep adding length until it's to the length that you want. And I am gonna go do that off camera, and then I'll get to you when I have the total length that I want. This is the length that I ended up going with. This is 15 rows total, not including this first chain row, but 15 rows of single crochets is the length that I liked. And you should just like hold it up to you, like this is the boob part, this is what's going underneath, this is the rest of the top, and just keep going until you get a length that you want. But again, this for me is 15. I'm just gonna finish up this last row, and then this is the last stitch. I'm not going to change colors because we are now done doing our rows, so I'll just finish with this same color, and then I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to cut my yarn, and then you can also cut this other color, and then just pull through like that, and then tighten. And I like to go in and tie these two together. But don't pull it as tight as I just did, because you don't want to move anything around. And then I'll just tie it again to secure. And we're gonna weave these in at the end, so don't worry about those right now. For this next part, we're gonna be making the strings that are gonna tie in the back to connect the two sides in the back of the top. And I'm actually gonna double up my yarn so it's a little bit thicker and stronger, and I also think it just looks kind of cool. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. It is maybe a little bit tricky, so you can just do one color if you want, but I just like doubling it up. And so I'm also going up in hook size, so this is a 6mm hook. Honestly, you could still use a 5mm hook, or you could probably still even use the 4mm that I was using earlier, but using a bigger hook is going to make it a lot easier, because it's hard kind of to crochet with two different strands of yarn if you're using a small hook. But I'll just show you how I do it. So you'll take both of your colors of yarn and then make a slip knot with both colors. Basically, you just treat it like you're crocheting with one color, except you just happen to have two strands. And then just insert your hook into the slip knot and tighten it a little bit. And then we're going to insert our hook into one of the sides here, about 1 or 2 rows down. I'm gonna go into this second row and just insert my hook into that first stitch-ish. It doesn't really matter, but that's just where I inserted it. And then you're gonna grab your slip knot, make sure you get both loops on the hook, and then just pull it through that hole. And now you're gonna chain one. There you go. And now I am going to chain enough. First of all, you're gonna like try this on by wrapping this around you and then pull it to the back and see how big of a gap you have in the back. For me, mine's like that big. So I'm going to chain enough to go from here to there, and back down to here, and then some extra so I can tie the two sides together, which for me, this is about 110 chains. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, but it's going to depend on your size and your top, as well as if you're just doing one strand of yarn instead of two, you might need to do a little bit more, because mine's going to be just bigger because of the fact that I'm using two strands. So yeah, that was 1, 2, see, I'm just doing a chain like normal, I just happen to have 2 strands, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I'm going to do this until I have 110 chains. This is what 110 chains looks like for me. I have this much extra, and this is how I ended up deciding on tying my top. So like starting here, going here, 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 and then ending at the bottom right there. And then I have that much extra to like tie the two sides together. If you're happy with that, then you're just going to chain one more and then cut your yarn and then just pull it through like that and tighten down. And now we're gonna do the other side. So make another slip knot. We're just gonna do exactly what we just did, but on the other side. I'm inserting my hook there. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then put that on the hook and then pull it through. And now I'm gonna chain 110 and just chain the number of chains that you did on the other side. So I'll just get back to you when I have the appropriate number of chains. Now we are basically done. We just need to weave in the ends. So I'm gonna take my darning needle and just weave these ends through there. First, I'll just tie them just to secure them a little bit more. Tie it again. And then I'm just gonna weave them through this chain. I'll just insert my needle through the stitches, just kind of weave it in randomly. And then take one of the strands, put it into the needle and then pull it through. And then like I'll loosen that and then pull that a little bit more. And then I'm gonna cut that. And I'll just kind of tighten that and then it goes away. And then do the same thing with the other strand. Just like weaving it all in there. Threading it through the needle. And then just like loosen the whole thing and then pull that strand a little tighter, stuff like that. And cut it. And then this one's like peeking out a little bit, so I'll cut that one too, a little bit shorter. And then that's just kind of what it looks like. I don't know, it's not perfect, but it doesn't really bother me. And then we also have ends like right here where we joined, so I'll just like tie some ends together to secure them a little bit better. And then just weave these in all throughout there. And then cut the ends, pull that, and there you go. I'm gonna weave in all of my other ends and then do the same thing that I did on this string to the other string. And then once all of the ends have been woven in, I'm gonna show you how to lace the back. Now that all my ends are woven in, it's time to tie the top. So I just kind of folded it around, so I'm looking at the back now. And I'm just gonna kind of go in this general pattern. So like go there, and then back this side there, and then at the bottom. So how I do it is I'll just like insert my hook somewhere here into a hole like that, and then pull this through the hole, and then just pull that through my hands, and then go into the other side, go like somewhere there, and then just pull through, pull the rest through with my fingers, then do it on this side somewhere, And I guess I'll end on this side, I guess. Then I'll insert my hook here. And then I'm gonna end on the other side. It doesn't really matter, so you can just do whatever. As you can see, I didn't even do what I had planned on doing, so it literally doesn't matter. But just pulling this through. And there you go. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I'm just gonna match up like where I did it to the other side. So like about there. And grab the other string. Same thing on the other side. And I'm just following this all the way down, and I will show you what it looks like when I finish. So this is what the top looks like. There's the back. I hope this video was helpful for you in making your own top. If it was, then please tag me on social media if you post something about it, or just like send me a message on Instagram and like send me a picture of yours, because I love when you guys send me pictures of your creations using my tutorials. And if there's anything that you were confused about or you're having any problems making this, then leave any questions or concerns down below and I will answer you to the best of my ability. But yeah, if you liked this video and thought I did a good job, then feel free to subscribe, because I'm going to keep doing more tutorial videos like this. Also, feel free to leave any requests in the comment section for future tutorials that you want to see from me, and I would be happy to do them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.